Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be chatting about the bird, or Hraesvelgr. I'm sure I've nailed that pronunciation. The other week we did a couple of videos on the deer, or Hraesvelgr, and again butchered that, but you guys seem to really enjoy those, had a lot of comments and questions, and you guys showed a ton of love for that, so as always appreciate that. So I thought we'd cover off the bird today. So I'll do this video where I want to run through kind of my favorite teams that I use and kind of why I use them, and I'll show you my strategies throughout the bird, and then I'll also do a follow-up video like the other one where I kind of show you guys how to build a team and how to kind of play around with different heroes that you might want to use. So let's get stuck in. This is currently my favorite setup for the bird. I find it to be one of the most consistent without having to run a taunt hero. This does sometimes switch. Sometimes I'll switch this out for, where is he, Hraesvelgr. The main reason is for the 25% attack related stats increase with his Holy Relic and his passive, but honestly I'm finding it to be a little less consistent than just the 35% increase and decrease from Mr. Arthur's Holy Relic. Holy Relic passive. So again, I think Green Arthur's a little bit slept on. I think he's actually a bit of a goated unit for PvP. Obviously his passive doesn't work in PvP or Deathmatch, but anywhere else I actually find him to be quite helpful. And he's been quite a good investment for me, especially on my early days free to play. He actually was part of my team in my very first build for the deer. So I run Arthur pretty much as my tank. So he has Red Tarmiel Link because we're not taunting in this setup, right? Second floor phase 2 is where you need a taunt if you're going to do it, but I'm actually just going to bypass that with Hraesvelgr, and I'll show you what I mean when I get there. So for the card setup, I use the HP recovery or the debuff recovery set. Once I've finished getting the damage dealt set from the bird, I think it's the bird or the deer set, I'll use that. I recently just got the dogs one instead because I don't actually really need them for either this one or the other one, but it'll probably make the runs a bit smoother. So I just use this, so every time we get debuffed we restore HP, so which is nice because, you know, sometimes in the first floor you'll get bled, you'll restore HP, you'll get full HP back, and then you'll proc Miguelda's Relic and Miguelda's passive, so that's really quite nice. So I have Arthur's Holy Relic, which is helpful on the first floor, but pretty much after that it doesn't actually do anything because the boss becomes immune to debuffs. So it's nice, but just kind of increases his CC, and then obviously I definitely have Miguelda's Holy Relic. As I mentioned in the last video, if you guys are at the point where you can get a couple of relics or you can only get your first relic, definitely if you're doing the bird, get this as your first relic. This makes the runs a million times easier. So equipment setup, I have attack crit for Hraesvelgr and melee. I've got Merlin on Hraesvelgr for the crit chance for his association link, right? And then I've got Sariel link on melee just for the extra crit damage when he does crit. And then on Arthur I've got HP defense, of course. Pretty much you want to always build your Arthurs with HP defense, and then attack defense for Miguelda. And then these are my associations. So I've got UR for Sariel, UR for Liz, and then basically a couple of URs and full SSR gear here. So when I first started doing the bird and stuff, I think I could pretty much clear through once I got Miguelda's Relic at anywhere 220, 230 CC combat, 230k CC. So I mean, this is obviously the higher it is, the nicer it is, but you don't have to have crazy high CC to do the bird, hopefully, as I'm about to demonstrate. So let's get stuck into it. Let's jump into floor 1, and we'll kind of run through it. So floor 1's pretty straightforward, apart from obviously the final phase, the last phase, where he has insanely high defense, and unless you have hit really hard, you basically patience him. So my tactic for this is basically use 2 single targets every turn to proc melee's passive, right? Get defense, get a damage reduction, as well as increasing his stats, and then I'm basically saving the golden finger, and then the melee's amplify attacks for the final phase as well. So just have a quick, feels quite loud. No, that's okay. Alright. Awesome. So again, that's good. That's a good starting point for us. It does get annoying though if you are saving cards and don't get, you know, a double single target. I will turn that down actually ever so slightly. Bird does feel quite loud. Again, Arthur's my tank right here, so he will. There's no attribute advantage or disadvantage in the Demonic Beasts, but for some reason, because he's red, he will go after green characters, which is very interesting. So I'm going to heal up to cleanse the debuff because I've got the relic and get another stack of her passive. I'm going to then just waste a few of these AoE cards, I think. Easy. And this is going to proc Escanor's passive, right? So the idea is to basically get Escanor at full passive and then have melee at full passive, well, as full a passive as we can by the time we get to that final phase. So I haven't been super lucky with the card so far, but I'm just going to basically use these. So again, 2 single targets to proc the passive. So really what I'm on the lookout for is, I kind of want Miguel's ult, which is power strikes, that'll always do damage cap. Pretty much if you have her built, I have a 6/6 luckily, so I'll do damage cap with her. And then I kind of want probably Escanor's ult, and then a couple of melee cards as well, ideally. So what we're going to do here is we're going to heal up. We're going to merge these cards. So I've got a gold finger, silver finger, and then we're going to do that, and that should kill. I'm just going to move that. So yeah, ideally I want to have a couple of silver melee cards, and then one Escanor finger should be enough. And then I've got Miguel's ult as well, and I should potentially be able to one phase it. So we'll see. Alright. I'm gonna have to just start getting rid of a few cards. I think we've got a few too many heal cards, so we're just gonna start churning a few, and I'm just gonna move that. Cool. So honestly, the goal here is just to clear out my hand and try and get the melee passive if I can, until I have basically Escanor ult, Miguel ult. Okay, so another melee card. Interesting, went for Miguelda. Okay, there you go. So cancel buffs on Arthur, which I don't care about, so that's good. And then what we might do is we're going to heal up. We'll use that, and then I'll just get rid of that. And that should hopefully kill. Be interesting if it doesn't. So again, like, there's a little bit of RNG with the bird as well, right? Nowhere near as much as Yorm, because you need the color cycle. I of course damage cap. But okay. Alright, so here's the problem. I'm probably gonna have to play with a couple of cards here, because I don't really want a gold melee single target. Kind of. So I might have to. I don't really want them ulting, so if I cleanse that, use that, and then if I move... I don't really want to use Escanor ult, but I'm not really going to have a choice here, I don't think. Because I don't want a gold melee card like I was saying, I want to just keep it 2 silvers. Silver's enough to do damage cap, 9 times out of 10. So, we'll see. Okay, so I got a finger, so what I'll probably do here actually is... I'm going to Miguel to ult. Arthur ult's not going to do anything, but I want to get a few more stacks for melee, because I don't think this is going to be enough damage. But then we're going to use, what's your attack, Escanor? 25. I'm going to use that finger. I don't think that's going to do anything either, but I want to try and clear my hand out a little bit. So this will do damage cap. Yep. This will do nothing. Patience. Yeah, good old Arthur. Just there to tank hits. I very doubt if this will do anything apart from... Okay. So, I mean, even at level 1, right, he still does damage. There we go. So there's damage cap. Perfect. So I've got a couple of turns now to play with. I've still got 2 more turns to play with. So what I will probably do is I will use a couple of single targets. I'll use Escanor's finger, and that should do enough See there, you saw the proc of the passive, which was nice because we used the healing card set. So I'm going to just do this, this, and this, and I'm hoping this kills. This will go patience, yep. But this should do hopefully a decent chunk of damage. Let's see. Enough that hopefully this... If melee hits damage cap here, we clear, which will be nice. Because otherwise I'm going to have to kind of rely on RNG here. There we go, perfect. Missed the first crit, so he scared me a little bit. But we'll... On to floor 2. So honestly, that's probably... Oh nice, I got a blue gem. That's probably one of the scariest parts of this entire boss for me, is that final phase. Just having enough damage to hit hard enough to get past it. So that's again why I really like Arthur, because he just provides that permanent 35% damage increase. Whereas I'd have to time it with Gotha, and if his cards clog up my hand, then I don't want to use them because I don't want to get his Holy Relic active too early. So it is a bit more consistent this way, personally at least, right? Again, guys, please feel to disagree in the comment sections below. It's definitely not gospel what I use. It's just what I find effective and what I enjoy using, right? And I find to be the most consistent. So tactic for floor 2 here is, if you guys don't know, on the second phase of this floor, he has a AoE that basically wipes if you don't have a taunt up, right? And a damage cap. So the only way to get around it is death damage. So either death ultimate or death damage. So with the new Escanor, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to do that. So the idea is I basically save 2 fingers, which pushes past damage cap, and then just making sure Arthur didn't die there, and then basically using a melee card to finish it off. So I'll show you what I mean when we get there, but for the moment all I'm basically doing is just clearing out my hand a little bit. I want to have some hard hitting cards right for the next 2 phases, because this is timing it so you actually get past phase 2 without needing a taunt, and then phase 3 can also be a little bit painful. So, but I'll explain that when we get there. Cool. So what I'll probably do here is I'll probably just heal up, and then I'm backing the Gelder to do enough damage. Use Arthur's card first to get another passive proc for melee. Honestly, if you guys aren't summoning for Trader melee, I don't know, I don't want to throw shade, but you should be. Definitely should be on your to-do list. And then, yeah, cool, that'll do. So I'm hoping this kills, because I don't want to use really any of those other cards. Yeah, we should be sweet. Perfect, lucky, just. Okay, so this is the phase where you can't do more than, I think it's a third of damage, and then you can only go, and then he also has a thing where he heals back a little bit of health once you kill him at the end. So basically what I want to do here is I want to use finger, melee attack, finger, and then I'm going to use this, and this should do enough damage, I hope, if I've done this correctly. So 150/70 is damage cap, that's damage cap. There we go, so tiny bit of health damage, and then it pops back its heal, right? Perfect, so now I'm through that fall, right? So that one you basically want to taunt for if you don't have some death damage there. I also want to fly through this one, because this one is a bit of a pain in the ass as well. If you don't, like basically I think it's 20 or 30% he gets a defense bonus, then down to 30% down here he gets a regeneration bonus. So if you don't basically stop here or get past this point, he'll full heal because his regeneration rate becomes so high. And also this final part, his crit chance and damage goes through the roof. So ideally you want to one turn this if you can. If not, maybe get down to about here so he has the defense bonus and then one turn him. But I'm pretty confident I can just fly through this, so I'm just going to do this, and this should be enough. There you go, so there's damage cap, 30%, so there's the defense increase, there's the regeneration rate increase, and then there's the crit damage and crit chance increase. Right, so in that phase as well, he does apply a lot of debuffs, which can get really annoying. Lowers your, you can't use heal cards, you can't do a whole bunch of different things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this. So we get a beautiful gold card, which is completely unnecessary. And then I'm going to just go... yeah, that'll do. So if we kill here, we finish on full HP, which would be nice. If not, I have a beautiful gold card to heal myself up with. Yeah, we're not going to get close to killing here. That's okay, we've got 2 single targets in for more melee passive, and we're going to do a decent chunk of damage here. Again, 212 is damage cap, which is nice. So many damage caps on this boss. So many damage caps. Alrighty. Yeah. Alright guys, we're going to heal up here, push us all to full HP, and then we should be ready to go to the next one. So as you can see, he's not hitting that hard. He does get rid of ultimate gauges at a certain point, but yeah, alright, cool. So 1, and then that should be game. Big heal, beautiful. Everyone up full HP. And we've got that, lovely. And then Escanor should finish off here. Perfect, and onto the final floor. This is what I mean, guys, like this team is just kind of consistent, like the damage decrease from Arthur, just the insane output of damage from Meli and Escanor. Like it allows you to not muck around on the floors for too long. It just means I can dish out the damage, get in, sometimes, you know, 1 or 2 turn that phase, and then just get out. So I've built tankier teams in the past with like taunt units and like Arthur and stuff, and it is beneficial when you don't have the damage from Trader or Escanor. You haven't built maybe these heroes, but like this just makes it means obviously you take less damage, right, because you're facing the bird for less times. I mean, I don't think we've faced an ultimate yet, right? So that's nice. Okay, so this phase the bird is super tanky, so my entire goal basically is just to proc as many Escanor and melee passives as I can to increase their damage and try and get through this floor. After that, it's pretty simple, to be honest, depending on what unique he gets at the end. But it's honestly just trying to bully your way through this phase. As you can see, I didn't do a lot of damage there, so yeah. This is why I like Tarmiel, bringing Tarmiel Link as well, because I don't need the taunt. Like, so if you guys do need to taunt in that second phase, like I was talking about, don't bring red Tarmiel, right? Make sure you're bringing blue Tarmiel, because his effect, where he restricts all skill effects, actually mucks up the taunt part of it, if that makes sense. I'll explain when I do the explainer video, but yeah, basically it'll stuff you a little bit, which is not a lot of fun. So here I'm just gonna go. So I want to try and just bully my way through this as much as possible, right? So this should give me 2 Orc increased stacks. This should increase Escanor's passive, and hopefully do a decent chunk of damage with these 2 single targets here. Better. There we go. I still love melee, guys. I don't know about you, but Escanor's great and he hits really hard, but there's just something about my boy Trader Melee. I've always been a big fan of it, and I think he carries through so much content, and his passive is just so good for the rest of the team. Like Escanor's just a straight damage dealer, right? And he's very selfish, but Melee still helps the squad out. Alright, so we're gonna heal up, and then honestly I think we might we'll do, what do you reckon, guys? Do you reckon a double finger will do it? Nah, I'm not gonna risk it. He's gonna ult next turn, so I'm just gonna go that 1, 2, and then we're also just going to use that to clean the hand a little bit. Cool, all healed up. Going with Escanor. I hope I don't. Okay, definitely didn't need the second finger, but better safe than sorry. And I still managed to get 2 off, so I got the passive. I haven't really been talking about the passives, but they don't really. Honestly, these ones up until now don't really do anything. I don't really notice too much. The decrease in attack is really annoying, and this can hurt. But and look, it applies an effect when reflects 25% of the hero's damage. I've never really noticed this, to be honest with you guys. Like I've never really seen it be a problem. What am I going to do here? Let's just go 1, 2. Actually, let's go 1, and let's use that, and then get another thing going for him. Cool. I've never really noticed, like, watch, I'll do the damage, then I get the reflect damage, but then I heal as well, right? Because I heal from the lifesteal from my heroes. Oh, perfect. And then, yes, go Arthur. Arthur, goated, MVP. So see, I've still got full health. Like, the reflect doesn't really do anything, I've noticed. Like, you'll take the damage, and then you'll get your lifesteal heal back. So, like, I don't know, it's a weird one. Alright, I guess we do... What do you reckon, guys? Let's do that. Let's clear our hand again as much as we can. Like, from now on in, like, I'm not... Like, this phase, I believe he deletes ultimate gauge and deletes, like, cards and stuff, but honestly, like, for me, most of the annoying parts of this boss are gone now, depending on, again, like I said, what our final passive is going to be. But as long as I clear through this quick enough, I don't really face too much problems with it. So now we've got so many stacks, right, from Gelder's passive and Arthur's and Melee's passive and stuff, like, our damage reduction's just through the roof. So if we go here, damage taken decrease, damage taken decrease, damage taken decrease, damage taken decrease, right, like, all this stuff is great. Oh, totally forgot, because I don't really do any more and I get through it quick enough. But this phase, guys, if you're using, like, a stance hero, like maybe Festival Dian, who I was using for a while, every turn he will cancel an ability. Like, you can't use it anymore, it's a grey debuff, right? So the first turn he does stances, you can't do stances anymore. Next turn is like debuff attack skills, then it's like healing skills, attack skills, and then ultimate moves. So you really want to get through them in kind of 2 turns or less if you can. So we're just gonna finish them up here. Get a cleanse, get some more stacks. Oh, huge Arthur. Actually, will we even? Yeah, we'll be fine. So yeah, you want to make sure you get through this part as well as fast as possible. So that's why I enjoy bringing just like a really high damage team, because I don't have to worry about the stance cancel, right? And I generally don't have to worry about, you know, any of like hanging around too long and, you know, getting too many debuffs or anything like that. So we got super lucky. We got probably we got the best passive you can get at this final phase. The other one is like when he dies, he heals 50%. The other one is like you can't drop him below 20%, or he full heals and increases all his stats, and then it's just game over. So we definitely got very lucky here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use all my good cards and use my Escanor cards and my Melee cards, and we should just be able to finish this up. So I really like the kind of having the crit chance on Escanor with Merlin, and then the Sariel link on Melee, just because it means we're both getting a lot of damage in. Oh, so close. Which is really good, right? So like Escanor is pretty much always going to crit, and Melee when he does crit, which is most of the time because he keeps getting those stats increase, right? When we use single targets and with Magelda's heal and her Holy Relic. So he's got a really high chance of hitting crits anyway. He'll ignore the defense. So actually, let's have a final check, shall we? What's Melee's stats looking like here? Yeah, see, crit chance is 160%, crit damage is 280, right? Like, we're partying now, right? 192% crit chance, right? So that's the association with Merlin really helping out here, right? Crit damage is super high as well. Awesome. So what we're going to do, we're just going to finish off here with, we'll just use all the Escanor cards just for some fun. And that'll be it, guys. So that's the bird. That's currently my favorite team. Like I said, I've played around with a few different teams, and I'll be doing a video on how to build a team, and you know, how to have a good solid team for the bird. I've tried a whole bunch of different combinations, so I've got a bit to hopefully help with. But that's that, guys. So I'll catch you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Cheers.